The land explored by our ancestors extends from Altai to the White Sea. The scientific expedition Trails of Nomads continues to unveil the path of our forefathers. Its leader is a true citizen of the world. He believes without a deep understanding of the past, there is no future. Each journey is focused on a detailed study of history and culture. Pilgrim of the 21st century, Sapari Skakov, with a team of scientists, has already visited more than 50 countries. Scientists reveal the exciting secrets of the past. Watch an amazing story of a great journey in the Trails of Nomads program. Trails of Nomads scientific expedition teams reached Syria. What legacy did al-Farabi leave in Damascus? What is the peculiarity of the scientist's mausoleum? Who initiated the construction of the historical and cultural center? How do the Syrians show respect for the great personality of the Great Steppe? Despite the distance, Syria is close to Kazakhstan. A lot of efforts were made to stop the bloodshed on the brotherly land. Kazakhstan has always provided support and did everything possible for the peaceful resolution of the conflict. Friendly ties between the two states date back to ancient times. This is evidenced by the burials of our two great ancestors, Abu Nasr al-Farabi in Baybars in Syria. Leader of the scientific expedition, Sapari Skakov had already visited the ancestral mausoleums several times. The current journey, that is the 2020 expedition, is organized and dedicated to the 1150th anniversary of al-Farabi. Trails of Nomads expedition team began their research in the capital of Syria with a visit to al-Farabi mausoleum complex, located on the territory of the ancient cemetery Bab al-Zagir. Its second name is Small Gate.
Бұл кісінің туған жері отырардың маңы, Фараб деген қала болған. Енді әуелгі кезде талас болды, кейбір басқа.
He was born on the Otrar land in the city of Farab. Earlier, the city was called Talas. Some peoples and states considered al-Farabi to be their ancestor. However, thanks to timely measures and government support in this matter, it was possible to achieve certain results. It has been completely proven that the scientist has Kazakh roots. He's a native of the Kazakh land. A stone was erected over his grave. A mausoleum and a whole complex were built.
Міне басына міне көктас орнатылып отыр, түгел мавзолей орнатылды, мұны комплекс салынды.
The tombstone of Abu Nasr al-Farabi has been repaired. An inscription telling that the scientist was born in the city of Farab, Otrar, was made on it in Kazakh and Arabic languages. The mausoleum was built as a large complex. The three-story building offers a mosque, a library, classrooms, 3 exhibition halls, independent Kazakhstan al-Farabi Otrar office space, hotel and dining room. This place stores everything necessary for spiritual enlightenment. Officially, the building bears the name of al-Farabi Mausoleum and Historical and Cultural Center. Previously, the cemetery looked like this. In 2006, we established the foundation named after Abu Nasr al-Farabi and Sultan Baybars. In the same year, we raised approximately $800,000. Later, our team of like-minded people, including PMs and ministers, went to a meeting with the head of government. Then it was Daniel Akhmetov.
Daniel Akhmetov, Premier Minister of Kazakhstan.
People contributed from their salaries. They collected one day's wages. These are, for example, the Republican Guard National Security Committee staff members, school children, teachers, students. This is done to draw people's attention to build a monument together. In 2004, first president of Kazakhstan initiated the state program Cultural Heritage. The project ensured the construction of the al-Farabi mausoleum complex. The fund also covered some part of expenses.
Ол кісі біздің бастамамызды қолдады. Енді сол енді жақсы.
He approved our undertaking. In 2007, the first president of Kazakhstan, Nursultan Nazarbayev, visited this place and met with Bashar Assad. They read a prayer here. Thus, this issue was further developed.
Міне осы іс алға қарай басты.
Тәуелсіздік алғалы бері қарай қазақтың өзіміздің ішіндегі бабаларымыз, батырларымыз да.
Since gaining independence, we pay tribute to the memory of our great ancestors. Erecting monuments to our ancestors abroad, we demonstrate the capabilities of Kazakhstan and, of course, we are proud of our outstanding ancestors. Even today, they are a connecting thread between Syria and Kazakhstan.
Сирия мен Қазақстанның арасын жалғастыра беретін дәнекер болады.
In 2007, an agreement was reached between the governments of Kazakhstan and Syria on the construction of the al-Farabi Historical Cultural Center and Mausoleum, as well as the restoration of the Al-Zahir Baybaris Mausoleum. This document was ratified 2 years later by presidents of the two countries. Thus, the construction of the al-Farabi complex began and lasted until 2011. However, due to the conflict in Syria, the acceptance certificate was not signed, and the facility was not commissioned yet.
Каждый день не меньше 100 человек, которые проходят мимо.
Every day, at least 100 people come here asking permission to enter the building. I hope this complex will accelerate friendly relations between our states.
То есть развивать дружественные отношения между нашими странами.
Suleiman Zayedeh is a man who guarded the al-Farabi Historical Cultural Center and Mausoleum during the period of instability in the country. Despite the meager salary, the professor of Damascus University did not leave this holy place. Therefore, it was saved from fires during the war. This is a tribute to the scientist who left a huge legacy for all of humanity.
Al-Farabi это великая личность, это не только для Сирии.
Al-Farabi is a great personality not only for Kazakhstan and Syria, but for all mankind. He's a philosopher. He's a musicologist. He was very well versed in medicine. Today, the works of the scientist are being studied in our country. Some students present theses on the works of al-Farabi.
Студенты защитили свою диссертацию по творчеству Al-Farabi.
The people of Syria deeply respect the works of al-Farabi. There is documentary evidence that the scientist spent the last years of his life in Aleppo, in the palace of the ruler from the Hamdanid dynasty, Saif al-Dawla. This palace has been preserved to this day. Ruler Saif al-Dawla was present at the funeral of the scientist.
Бұл арада жатқан Al-Farabi'дан басқа үлкен ұлы адамдар бар. Осы арада біздің пайғамбарымыз Мұхаммедтің екі
Other great personalities are buried here together with al-Farabi, two wives of Prophet Muhammad, Hafsa, Salama, as well as granddaughter of the Prophet Muhammad, Fatima. Fatima is the daughter of Zainab, and Zainab is the daughter of Muhammad. A lot of famous people are buried here. This is a very ancient cemetery. In 2005, when we came here, we found the burial place of our ancestor Abu Nasir al-Farabi.
Осы 2005 жылы келген уақытта біз осының ішінен аралап жүріп тауып алғанбыз. Бабамыз Абу Наср аль-Фарабидің жатқан жерін.
Al-Farabi was born in the city of Auxerre near Otrar and died in Damascus. He visited many eastern cities with a developed civilization: Tashkent, Samarkand, Bukhara, Merv, Isfahan, Hamadan, Tehran, Baghdad, Aleppo, Cairo, Alexandria, Mecca, Medina, Haran. Atmosphere of these cities, according to historians, influenced al-Farabi and shaped him as a great teacher.
Өйткені al-Farabi'ді уақытында күллі Европаның ғалымдары мойындаған. Оның кітаптарын Европаның
Al-Farabi was recognized by all scientists of Europe. His books were read by the scientific circles of Europe and Asia. Avicenna, Biruni, and other scientists were self-educated thanks to the works of our ancestor. Al-Farabi wrote over 1,000 works. Many of them have been translated into Kazakh. One of the works, Big Book of Music, was translated into Kazakh by our foundation.
Музыка туралы үлкен кітап деген бір десін кітабын. Біз оны қазақшаға аудардық, біздің фонд кезінде.
Head of the expedition, Sapar Iskakov presented the Big Book of Music translated into Kazakh to the honorary consul of Syria in Kazakhstan, Saib al-Nas. The diplomat talked with the expedition members, shared information on the activities of al-Farabi and Sultan Beybaris in Syria. He also highly appreciated the work of Kazakhstan researchers in the study of the historical heritage.
For us, it is a great persons, Beybaris and al-Farabi, and they are a school for all generations, not only from Kazakhstan but also worldwide. And the generations in Syria, they are hearing about now, because of your investment, because of your activity, what you have made in Syria. Now everybody speak about al-Farabi and Beybaris.
Al-Farabi is the great personality of the Great Steppe. He achieved high results in various fields of science and art, including music. Particular attention should be paid to the conclusions of the scientist Henry Farmer, who gave a scientific explanation to the Big Book of Music. In the field of music, Al-Farabi was the king alone. That is, in this direction, he had neither teachers nor role models. Today, humanity, which is 7.5 billion people, knows only 7 notes. Al-Farabi's studies mention 12. The scientist was not only a theoretician, but also a practitioner. There is documentary evidence that he played several instruments. He could make such a stringed, plucked instrument like al-Qanem himself. During the excavation of Otrar, medieval musical instruments were found. However, people in the Middle Eastern countries, including the Syrians, associate al-Farabi's al-Qanem with this musical instrument, which was noticed in recent years on Kazakh land. Its revival was initiated by Sapar Iskakov, who ensured conditions for the study of the ancient instrument by the members of the Kazakh ensemble Kok Turks. For this, a specialist from Syria was even invited. Our musicians quickly mastered the instrument. After all, it is very similar to the Kazakh zhatagan. The fact that Al-Farabi was called the king in the field of music is quite understandable. There is a version that all musical instruments, wind, percussion, strings, all of them appeared on the Kazakh land. This is confirmed by archaeological excavations. For example, here is the most ancient bowed instrument on earth, kobus. It was found in the 6th century in Altai. An exact copy of the ancient instrument was presented to the culture minister Muhammad al-Ahmad. As you know, the forefather of kobus is Korkut Ata. Al-Farabi had just improved it. We will bring this musical instrument to our conservatory. This will help students learn. Al-Farabi was a real healer of the human soul and body. He practiced music therapy. He made a great contribution to the development of medicine. He not only diagnosed diseases, but also offered remedies for their prevention. The results of the scientist's research became the basis for the development of medicine and pharmaceuticals. The first hospitals and universities were opened in the Middle East, including Damascus. During that period, toothpaste and aspirin, which are used all over the world to this day, first appeared in the capital of Syria, in the medieval Bimaristan of Nur al-Din Hospital and Medical School.
لكنه بالأصل هو
We are now in an important historical site. This is Bimaristan, Al-Nuri. Here, mental illnesses were treated with music. Ibn Sina worked here. He learned a lot from al-Farabi, who was his student. Al-Farabi was born in the Turkestan region.
في منطقة تركستان.
The great teacher paid a lot of attention to medicine, and this is primarily due to his idea of happiness. In his opinion, if there is no healthy body, there will be no healthy spirit. In his work entitled Treatise on the Views of the Residents of Virtuous City, the scientist expressed all his thoughts about the human heart from a medical point of view. His ideas are still relevant today. In the United Arab Emirates, Bhutan, India, and Ecuador, there are still entire ministries that deal with issues of happiness. The huge legacy left by al-Farabi was discussed at a meeting with the mayor of Damascus, Adel Anwar al-Olabi. Al-Farabi left a priceless legacy to descendants. These are his works and research in various sciences. The people of Syria appreciate his services very highly in Damascus and other regions of our country. There are a lot of schools and streets named after Al-Farabi. Head of the scientific expedition, Sapar Iskakov, presented the al-Farabi badge to the mayor of Damascus for his contribution to the development and promotion of the heritage of the great teacher. He was also invited to the capital of Kazakhstan, to the city of Nur Sultan, as a guest of honor. The mayor gratefully accepted this offer. In his opinion, al-Farabi's ideas about a happy society, a virtuous city, are still relevant today. Al-Farabi's legacy brings together and strengthens relations between Syria and Kazakhstan. The work of your expedition in our country proves this. This is a big and important matter. Kazakhstan makes an invaluable contribution to the establishment of peace and stability in Syria. Nur Sultan was provided as a platform for negotiations between the warring parties. We know that the Kazakh people are very peaceful. Your country is striving for prosperity, and we want that too. Damascus is like a confirmation of the mayor's words about the converging role of the heritage of the great teacher. This is one of the longest streets in the city, Al-Farabi Street. There is also a monument to the scientist. Unfortunately, due to the war, some of its parts were damaged.
Bunda жазылған Abu Nasr al-Farabi екінші
It is written Al-Farabi is the second teacher, scientist, philosopher, and mathematician who studied music. The street is named after our ancestor, Al-Farabi.
музыкамен айналысқан. Енді осы көшенің аты bizim babamızға берілген al-Farabi көшесі деп.
As it is written on the monument and tombstone, Al-Farabi's full name is Abu Nasr Muhammad ibn Tarhan ibn Uzlag al-Farabi. His real name is Muhammad. His father was also called as a prophet Muhammad. This speaks of the special attitude of the family towards the Islamic religion. Grandfather's name was Tarhan, great-grandfather Uzlak. According to the Turks' concepts, Tarhan is the highest military status that follows the Han. Abu Nasr can be understood in different ways. It can mean Nasr's father. That is, Al-Farabi had a son named Nasir. The second Abu Nasr is a sign of special respect for the Arabs. In the East, according to tradition, a teacher or a respected person was never called by his name. Therefore, the people called the scientist Abu Nasr, that is, the patron.
Жақын жерде мектеп бар екен. Ayn Jalut деген атында.
There is a school, Ayn Jalut, nearby. The city also has a school of Abu Nasr al-Farabi, a school of Sultan Beyboris. There are schools named after our other ancestors. Our ancestors are greatly respected here.
Мекемелер бар екен. Сондықтан бұлар да енді өте жоғары құрметтейді бұл біздің бабаларымызды.
Kipchak Sultan Beyboris is respected in the Arab world. He is called the protector of Muslims. After a long time of troubles, he established peace and stability in the Middle East region. This is evidenced in the materials found by the scientific expedition team. We will tell you more about this in our next episode.